Hi, my name is Kirsten Foss and I'm a business coach for the spa industry. So a few weeks back, I put a shout out on my Facebook group, Spa Business Mastery, asking if anybody had any questions they wanted to ask me because I was looking for topics to talk about in my videos here. And one of the questions was, where do I find my ideal client? So finding your ideal client can feel like this huge mystery, but really where you need to start out is figuring out who your ideal client is. And in order to do that, it's not as easy a task as you may think, because it goes beyond your traditional demographics of age, sex, where they live, how much their household income is, yada, yada, yada. It moves into more of the psychographics, and psychographics are people's behaviors and interests. And the really cool thing is that with Facebook advertising, that's where the magic is, that's where the power is in the using interests. It's using the psychographics and being able to really easily and very, very clearly target these people. But once we've figured out who our ideal client is, then it's those psychographics that are the key to figuring out where our ideal clients are hanging out. So now they're hanging out in two places. They're hanging out in person and they're hanging out on social media. So as far as in person, you need to look at what their behaviors are and their age and that kind of thing. And say, for example, they are baby boomers. So baby boomers, they don't have any kids at home anymore. They've probably retired and they probably have grandkids, and they probably have a fair amount of activities that they do in their spare time. So maybe they're golfers, maybe they're gardeners, maybe they're hikers, walkers, runners. Maybe they are passionate about being in service to the community. It's up to you to figure out, once you know who your ideal client is, what kind of things that they're doing, what kind of activities they're doing. And for example, with the baby boomers, if they're gardeners, for example, then a natural movement would be to look at maybe some of the gardening clubs in your local area. Perhaps you could strike up some sort of relationship with the people that are in charge of that group and offer to do a 5 or 10 minute talk about organic skincare. I mean, it's a relevant topic to gardeners. They're interested in organic matter. Why not talk about it, how it relates to skincare and the spa industry? You're providing value. And when you provide value, that's when you are able to position yourself as an expert and people start trusting you. So say, for example, your ideal client is in their 20s. Maybe you are a brow artist and your demographic, your ideal client, is in their early to mid 20s. Then usually in that time of our lives, we are in some sort of post-secondary or just recently graduated, an alumni. So if you have a local community college or a university, that would be a natural place to start looking at how you can connect with that group of people, because there's a huge group of people, a huge group of your ideal clients in that area. So maybe you actually go to the schools to see if there is anywhere that you can post a flyer. Maybe there is something you can offer some of their student groups. It's up to you to do the legwork and to figure out what you can offer and where you can offer it. But really it's about getting yourself out there and making your business and yourself visible to that group of people. So spend a little time, take out a pad of paper and a pen and just start brainstorming. Make sure you have an ideal client that's very clear, because once you're clear on your ideal client, then you can start figuring out where they're hanging out. Now, the second part of this is where they hang out on social media. So we all know that, once the older demographics like myself, the Gen Xers and the boomers, were on social media, particularly Facebook, all of the younger ones scattered. I mean, they still have their profiles, but they don't typically use Facebook as their main social media platform to communicate on and interact. So if you have a younger demographic, definitely Instagram is where you want to be looking. And if they're under 20, Snapchat is where you need to be putting your marketing efforts on social media. But if you're demographic or baby boomers and Gen Xers, we are all over Facebook and we use Facebook a lot. So you want to be careful with where you're putting all of your time and energy. You don't have an unlimited supply, so you want to be really smart and really strategic about where you are spending your time on social media with your marketing. So that's pretty much it. Figure out who your ideal client is, figure out where they're hanging out, and then figure out where they're hanging out both in person and on social media, and start taking some steps to reaching those groups of people in where they are.